Okay, now we got number 3, Deming's principle, point for management. Number 3, cease dependence on mass inspections. Basically, this says build in quality to begin with, which is point number 5, improve every process. We've already talked about improving every process, and the right process should produce the right results. Well, if our operation is just a mess, there's no consistency, there's no processes, the equipment's bad, and all of the employees don't care, that might lead us to be in a situation where we have to mass inspect everything on the way out of the building. Actually, in the textbook, there is some crazy figure about a quarter of manufacturing time is spent on repairing things before they leave the building. I'm thinking of, just the other day, those stand-up fans that we have. And I've noticed that over the past 10 years, the fans have gotten better. They last longer. I'm very much happier customer, and I don't hesitate to go buy another one. In fact, probably in our house, we have 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of those we have to have at all times. But I do remember buying one about a year ago that we put it all together, plugged it in, and turned the switch, and it didn't work. Why didn't it work? And I was thinking, maybe an employee was in fear, maybe they were rushed, maybe they were out of a certain part and thought that they would get into trouble if they didn't alert somebody. So we don't want that happening. But we cease dependence on mass inspections with improving every process and building quality in to begin with. In fact, if you do have faith in your process, like some of the major companies, you just turn the light off, let the operation run. They have confidence. They've built in quality, they've invested in the equipment and the expertise to get a process that works. Just turn out the lights, we don't even need to see it. Just load it into, just automatically loads into the truck and off it goes because we're confident in our processes. So number 3, cease dependence on mass inspections by number 5, improving every process and building in quality. Now, number 4, end lowest tender contracts. When I read that the first time, I was like, what's a tender? What's a contract? What is all of this? Well, it's basically purchasing on price alone. We have probably all been guilty of going cheap. Ladies and your slippers. You buy the slippers, you want the $20 pair or the $10 pair, and then within 2 days, they break. We're just talking in class about school bags and the good quality ones that last forever. And you will buy, well, not forever, but you maybe every year you get a new one and give it away to somebody because you want a different style or something like that. I remember the first satchel, I've only bought one, that I bought here locally, and I think my mind frame was going, do I want to pay $80 for this one or $35? And I was probably, finances were low at that point, starting up, and probably went for the $35 one. And I'm telling you, from the store to market, I bought like 3 pounds. I put a textbook in there and 3 pounds of potatoes, and by the time I got on the bus, the strap had ripped. I was guilty of purchasing on price alone. What did I get out of that? Well, I had to go buy the better satchel or just not have one. Will I ever buy one of those again? No. And here I am talking to the whole world saying, don't go cheap with those school bag things. Now, Deming is saying that companies shop on price alone. And they're not factoring in the quality like they should. Of course, we don't, costs are important, but we want a satisfied customer, but we want a product that works They're not factoring in quality. The suppliers, this is important, ability to build relationships. That is important. And suppliers who are not concerned with continuous improvement. If they're not in the white room, we're going to be getting supplies that aren't up to snuff. And then we make products with it or services, and then the customer's unsatisfied. Who wins? Nobody wins. The supplier is going to give us, say, cheap products that we use, and then our customers get the final product. They don't like it, so they don't buy from us, and we don't buy. We all lose. We all ruin by doing our best. Bulk purchases to save money. This can get you into big trouble, but that's the way the world works, right? If you buy one, it's $1. If you buy 10, they're 90 cents. If you buy 100, they're 80 cents. This supplier, not in the white room, is setting us up for potential big problems. And actually, the purchasing people, the people in purchasing, we also set them up for this situation. Because the purchasing people often get a bonus if they save on raw material cost. And now we need a warehouse to put all this stuff in, and we might not even use it. So what is the long-term cost of this practice? Well, it might end up costing us more going cheap, like with the school bag, ladies with the slippers. They might break easily. It might require cleanup because it's, whatever it is, it's not what it could be. There might be a smell involved. It might take 2 coats of paint instead of 1. Less taste if we're in the, you've seen this at the grocery with spices. Some spices are taste, are quality, and then the cheaper spices, you don't get as much, and you have to use twice as much. Less quality with our going cheap, and more work time possibly. It's hard to work with that. Oh my goodness me, those crazy weed whackers that we get down here, right? I don't know how much they are anymore, but I paid $125 for that thing, and it worked twice. It was always shutting down, and it took me forever to cut the yard, which is why I'm out of that business. I don't want to even go there anymore. It ruined my spirit. More repairs. Might have to replace it, like with the fan. I don't know where that fan that didn't work. And safety. If we go shop by price alone, GM learned their lesson. They saved a few pennies on a gizmo and ended up killing people, supposedly. So, now going back to bulk purchases, in order to save money, purchasing on price alone, hey, we can get it cheaper if we buy a ton of it. Do we ever use it? Was it used? Did it rust before we could even use it? Now brings us to the warehouse space. Toyota and their waste. Muda is waste. There's tons of ways to be wasteful. Having a warehouse space. See, we thought we saved money by buying $1 million or something, but now we have to have a warehouse for it. And then we have to have employees keeping track of the inventory we might not even ever use. Expired goods. You buy a container load of some food item to save money, and then you can't sell it before the expiration date. So, actually, this is ingrained in us, many of us. Did I not put termites? What about termites? What about your house? Do you have a wooden house? One termite spray works, the other one doesn't, but you save money on it. Then your house gets termites. So, doing our best. This is all very popular. It's ingrained in us, and we fall for it over and over and over. He's saying, stop purchasing on price alone. Now, constancy of purpose. Do we have constancy of purpose? If you purchase on price alone, do you have constancy of purpose? Look at all the things that can go wrong. We can even kill people. We ruin our reputation by saving a little bit of money. Would you buy chicken for 50 cents a pound? Loss of repeat business. Got food poisoning, gave the customers food poisoning, they're not coming back. Legal fees. Now we get sued. How much is going cheap costing us? You gotta think about that. Oh, an example. Many of you work in an office. If you just buy the cheapest paper and stuff it into the copier machine, doesn't that just create a mess? And insurance fees. Once the insurance company finds out that you're not up to snuff and you don't have constancy of purpose, your fees are going to go up. So how much did it cost you by going cheap in the long run? Do you care about the long-term profits? So, cease independence on mass inspection by building in quality and improving every process. And part of this improving every process and building in quality is to stop buying junk to work with.